power doing squat.
Hi, my name is Turan. I'm an exercise Guinness World Records holder. I also hold the elite world record for most squats in 24 hours. You might ask, why would anybody want to do 24 hours worth of squats? And that's a legitimate question. And the answer to that is I just wanted to prove that it could be done, that the body could be pushed to that limit safely. And I was even the following day able to go out and jog and felt perfectly fine in my joints. And that's important. I practiced for this 24-hour world record squat using the pace training technique. Squat pace training utilizes focusing techniques and rhythm to optimize your power output. Now here are some really important benefits of bodyweight squatting and squat pace training. There's no other movement other than the squat that will burn as many calories without impact on the joints, and this is crucial for the longevity of your body. Can you imagine yourself, I don't know, maybe at 80, 90 years old, actually producing as much energy as you can right now? I don't know how old you are. Let's say you're 30, 40, 20, whatever. Imagine yourself just getting even stronger as you get older, as opposed to what happens to a lot of people, maybe some people who are runners and their joints give out on them and now they can't produce as much energy. Squatting produces the most growth hormone with one movement because you're affecting the largest muscle groups. Also, according to Dr. Joan Vernikos, who worked for NASA, studied gravity and the effects of not being in gravity upon astronauts and made some amazing discoveries. And one key discovery, it's so simple, is that just moving up against gravity stimulates lipoprotein lipase. And this is an enzyme that actually burns fat. Also, one of the great things about bodyweight squatting is that you can have a pretty good approximation of calories burned during your squat routine. If you're interested in finding out how many calories you burn per squat, click right here. And so what if we take this movement and use it in a different way? A way that burns more fat and builds more lean muscle. With squat pace training, you're going to become your own exercise machine that'll last a lifetime. Now, I'm not saying that this is a panacea exercise for all people, but I dare say it is for most people. If you have a pre-existing knee or hip or other joint condition that may be affected by the squat, consult a physician. See if this is appropriate for you. So how do you determine your appropriate squat pace? You choose a time frame, whatever time frame you're willing to commit to squat pace training. It could be 3 minutes, it could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. I made the videos up to 10 minutes long, so that's your max time. Whatever time frame you choose, you should be able to do the movements without strain. And that's your baseline speed. From there, you go up to the next speed and test it out. You want to eventually find a speed where you have to stop at least 2 times during that pace. So when you find that speed, you master that speed until you don't have to stop at all. So what's the proper squat form? Okay, well, first of all, you want your feet to be at least shoulder width at first, and then you go 1 notch wider. So you're maybe just a little wider than the hips. Feet should be pointing straight. If anything, they're angled out a little tiny bit, but certainly not ballet style. And of course, don't cross them in. You want those knees to track straight forward. So start by looking at a mirror, looking straight forward, and make sure that your knees don't buckle in. You don't want that buckling. Also, you don't want your knees to bow out when you go down. Some people, it's very common actually, that people bow out with their knees. They're really trying to protect themselves. But what you can do to adjust that is if your knees bow out, put your weight on the inside of your feet. If your knees buckle in, put your weight on the outside of your feet for a while until you get used to squatting, tracking in line. And when I say tracking in line, the knees are going to move a little bit like an S. If you are wearing shorts, you'll see that. What you don't want is the knees to buckle in or bow out. Now, turning to the side, what you want to see is you don't want the knees to go over the toes. You want to sit back on the heels. Keep the chest up, shoulder blades back, arms out. Weight is on the heels as much as possible, so when you listen to the squat pace training tracks, you're going to hear me say weight on the heels. Arms out in front or above, and what that does is it really gets the chest up high, keeps the body upright and works your spine and core all at once. Buttocks slightly flexed, so when I say that, it doesn't have to be exaggerated. You don't have to do a butt lift or anything like that. It's just keep it a little bit taut, and what that does is it's going to help align your hips. If your hips are off even the slightest bit, that slight butt flex is going to help you align the hips. So that's basically it. Feet are pointing straight, a little wider than shoulder width apart, arms are out. Okay, do a little bit of a pelvic tilt for the butt flex, and then sit back on the heels. Initially you might feel like you're going to fall backwards. Fine. Use a couch or something to sit on. You're totally protected. Lean back. Get that sensation of leaning back on the heels. Now I turn my palms up like this. What that does is it brings the shoulder blades back and down. This way, as you're doing a lot of squats, you can actually be shaping your upper body properly as well. So here's that side view again. Tilt, arms out, sit back. Sit back, knees behind the toes. And if you feel like your toes are coming up, good, that's what you want. You don't want to lean forward. You don't want to end up doing a knee bend. So how deep should you go? Typically when I do a squat, it's about 11.5 inches. I'm going to show you how to actually measure the squat and get your calorie count. So mine is about 11.5 inches when I squat. That's that range of motion. But if you do 6 inches, that's fine too. It's just that your calorie output will be less than. Whatever your standard is, that's perfectly fine. As long as, rule number 1, you're being safe. That's the most important thing. So find a comfortable range of motion so that you're not straining your tendons, and practice that range of motion. You might find over the course of years, hopefully if you're practicing this for years, you're going to start going deeper. It's a practice to be able to go deep and sustain an extended period of time, that is. So just find the depth that you feel comfortable with. I don't suggest that you go deeper than the bottom of your leg, so your hamstring should not go beyond the parallel point. So that should be parallel to the ground. It shouldn't go below that. If it does a little bit, that's perfectly fine. If you look at me doing the 10-minute videos, you'll see, if you freeze frame it, you'll see I always go a little bit below that parallel point, but you don't have to go all the way down. Some people really go, and that's too much strain and torque on that knee. You don't want that. Less strain, the better. You're still going to get amazing benefits just going parallel to the ground. But once again, let me reinforce, find your range. Even 3 inches will be beneficial. It's just that you're going to burn that much less calorically. So to check out your calories again, click right here. You might even need to do shallower squats, for a while at least, or maybe even assist yourself using your palms doing what I call push-up squats. Very important. Make sure you warm up before every squat session, no matter how long your squat workout will be. To do a warm-up, click right here. Also, make sure that you don't increase more than 5 squats per minute per month. This is very important because your tendons don't get as strong as your muscles do initially. It takes time for your tendons to catch up with your muscles. Your muscles might feel ready, but your tendons might not be, and then you might experience some tightness, especially around the knees. Give yourself a good solid 3 months to build up your squat pace foundation. And then from there, you can really start accelerating your pace, going to higher paces and really getting some amazing energy output. Be safe. Now if you're feeling chronic tightness around the knees, usually above the knees, that's tendon tightness, and you probably are one of those people like me who needs to do more quad stretching. So if you don't know what quad stretch to do, go to that warm-up video and check it out. Now, as of the launch of the Squat Pace Training channel, I don't have all the squat paces up there. I just wanted to get it rolling, so there are some paces that are missing, some in-between numbers. For example, perhaps it goes from 33 to 35. I will be filling in the 34, for example, or whatever higher numbers we have to, or even lower numbers. So be patient, and those paces will come along. It's important actually to have the increments in between so that it's optimally safe, but look for that in the future, and in order to make sure that you are on top of that and see when another pace is coming up, all you have to do is subscribe. Alright, so how do you count your calories per squat? And this is a powerful tool because you'll get to know what your energy output is at the end of your workout, so you're on the right page with me here. Okay, so the tools that you'll need, three things. Well, it's helpful if you have what's called a pitch counter. It's used, I guess, for baseball. I call it a squat counter, and you can get this on, on the internet, on Amazon, or I'm sure a number of different places. They're not too expensive. I've seen them go as cheap as $3.50 and as much as $13. I like these metal ones. They seem to last the longest. And basically, hold it in your hands and you just click away. You'll see me use these in the 10-minute clips, and you could just then focus on the actual up and down rhythms that I'm giving you, and focus on the words, the forms, or whatever thoughts you're having, and then just let them go, release, be in the moment with the meditation of the squat, which is another way of using the squat, by the way. But you also need a tape measure and a pencil. Okay, so what we do is you need a door frame. This is how you measure your range of motion. What you're going to do is, find a door frame that you're not, bothered to. You're not bothered if you mark it up a little bit with a little pencil. You can always erase it. Put the pencil right in the side of your buttock with the lead pointing out. Okay? And you can use that to make a mark in the frame, and that's your upright position. That's when you're fully upright in the squat. And then start squatting. And don't exaggerate it. Don't go super deep. Just whatever range of motion would be your normal range of motion. It's better to be a little bit on the conservative side. This way you get a good conservative calorie estimation. So let's say I'm right about there. I find that same point in the buttock on the side, and I mark it off. And there I have it. What I do now is I look at the distance between up and down, and it looks like it's about 12 inches right now. That's why I've gone conservative in the past. I think at 11.5 inches. So you would use that number, whatever it is for you. For me, it's 11.5 inches. And you should also know your weight in pounds, and you put those numbers into the formula in the calculator. If you're already on the calculator page, great, it's right down below there. And if you're not on the calculator page, well, just click somewhere here and you'll go to the calculator page and you'll find out how many calories you burn per squat. Okay, one more thing. What I'm looking to do is also create a squat pace training community right here on YouTube. So if you're interested in creating a 10-minute segment for the Squat Pace Training channel, just contact me, click on the link below to my email, and send me your interest, and we'll begin to communicate, and maybe you'll be the next Squat Pace Training star. I look forward to it. Thank you.